till the day I die.
Welcome back to the Jonah and Ben podcast on a mid-November 5:40 evening. This is Jonah from the Jonah and Ben podcast, welcoming you on a U.S. men's national team match day. They host Jamaica in the second leg of the CONCACAF Nations League.
In St. Louis.
And I bet my co-host Ben didn't expect me to open the pod this way, but it is.
I'm kind of surprised.
What do you expect, or what do you hope for, should I say, from the USMNT tonight in Pochettino's fourth game as the USMNT boss?
I mean, they won 1-0 in Jamaica. Not a confident 1-0 though, because they gave up a penalty.
But it was saved by the person who fouled him.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
this video is just him bashing Ted Cruz, by the way.
But the U.S., they shouldn't have only won again at Jamaica by 1. They should have had a more comfortable result.
Not easy, though.
Yes, but they should be having more comfortable result with those players that they called up.
But Pochettino, only in his third game as boss, still got an away victory against the fourth toughest CONCACAF team.
Yeah.
Third toughest, not including themselves.
I mean, you get a home game.
I'm not saying it's a great result, but it's a good result.
You'll have the crowd fully for you in St. Louis, so it's good. It's probably going to be a 2-3-0 for the U.S.
What do you hope to see, though, from the USMNT tonight?
I want to see Pulisic scoring a brace. I want to see him being a star in this game. I want
against Jamaica at home when you
want
have
Turner to
the
be
1-0 lead and you have a heavy advantage.
You just need to convert chances. That's all you need to hold on. Just gotta prevent Jamaica from scoring. That's pretty much it.
Well, they did a few days ago when they obviously won. Not very convincingly, like you said, but it was a win in a difficult spot. Well, not very difficult. But tonight will be easier. I think I will go with a 3-1 win. A late conceding goal to maybe Nicholson. But for the USA, you do have your best players in Pulisic, McKennie, and Anthony Robinson, so you would expect a great team performance, even if it's only Pochettino's fourth game. I'm looking forward to it. All right, moving on.
More in CONCACAF Mexico. They're an absolute disappointment so far because they lost away at Honduras 2-0.
2-0. And yes, their fans are Mexicans.
Their coach had a head wound.
Assaulted. He was hit with a beer can square in the temple. That would hurt anybody.
I mean, are you surprised?
No, I'm also not surprised by Mexico's result. They made Luis Palma have a brace. Nobody on Mexico had above a 6.8 rating. I mean, they were terrible. Their goalie is 50.
I mean,
their boss is terrible.
I mean, who?
They're just
Mexico
uninspiring.
Are the
Luis Romo still plays for them? They are very uninspiring.
They are the disappointment of CONCACAF. They have no. They don't.
And they're
know what the fuck to do.
They have the most pedigree of anyone in CONCACAF, and yet they're probably at best the third best.
You have the most amount of talent available to you, and this is what always happens with them.
The most football-focused nation by far of the big three. And they're losing away to Honduras pretty convincingly. And now they have it all to do in the second level of the CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinals. Not even the semis, the quarters. And they might fail to make the games at SoFi next March, which would be very interesting. Speaking of, and just to wrap this up, this CONCACAF segment, this totally North American segment, is...
Canada was playing Trinidad, right?
Canada, no, they were not playing Trinidad. They beat Suriname.
Oh.
I mean,
that's not even a South American country.
Well, they only beat them 1-0. However, no Alphonso Davies, yet the rest of their team was, I think... They feature Europeans like David and Alistair Johnston, but besides that, I know.
Lineup.
Well, they should be winning better than 1-0 against Suriname.
Suriname, yeah.
Junior Hoylett was their best player. So, nobody in CONCACAF stood out besides Mexico for all the wrong reasons. So, that concludes our CONCACAF segment. We'll see you again next March, when it's probably USMNT Mexico in the semifinals at SoFi. Moving on.
The MLS Cup Conference semifinals are coming up this weekend with Starting off, the New York Red Bulls taking on rival NYCFC at Citi Field at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The following match that night is Los Angeles FC versus Seattle Sounders at 10:30. The matches on Sunday are Orlando City versus Atlanta United and Los Angeles Galaxy versus Minnesota United.
As former Red Bulls and MSG commentator Steve Cangelosi said, the Red Bulls are undefeated, 3 wins in 3 games against NYCFC in cup or single elimination competitions. However, this is the first one of those games that isn't at a Red Bull Arena. Do you think that plays a part in this matchup?
I hope not.
Or do you think it will?
I hope the first thing you said applies for the Red Bulls, but
do you think there will be a home field advantage
yes,
for NYC?
There will be massive
home field advantage. And do you think it will play a part in this game?
Yes, because you got to think about it. It's a baseball stadium. It's different state, different.
It's not very far.
But it's still a different state. You have to travel slightly. I mean, it's just like a train ride, but like you still got to travel. But I mean, you got to go to Queens. It's gonna be dark out. It's gonna be cold. I mean, this also applies to New York City too. But I mean, you got to think about it. How the results went between these two teams. There was unfortunately a 2-1 loss in May, and then the absolute terrible result in September. Don't even want to fucking talk about that. It was so fucking awful. I hope the Red Bulls win. But I mean, I go with a 1-1 draw in regulation, and then in penalties it would be 5-4 Red Bulls.
Are you finished?
Yep.
Okay, I tried to let you cook there. That was a productive segment. So the Red Bulls traveled to New York City. We saw them beat Columbus twice. Well, 1 win, 1 draw, and then a win on penalties with Coronel saving 3 penalties in a row. Unheard of. Well, until we saw the NYC Cincinnati penalties. But the Red Bulls are obvious underdogs in this matchup, just like how they were in Columbus. After losing twice to Columbus in the regular season, they beat them in the playoffs.
Let's hope this
and then applies. Can you not interrupt me? This is my segment. I let you have your turn. This is my turn. So we'll see if it similarly plays out. I don't know. I mean, this is the third matchup between Sandro Schwartz and Nick Cushing. Cushing, there's obviously all the rumors about him potentially leaving the job to coach Arsenal women's team. I don't know if that will be a major part of this. I don't know if anybody is suspended or... Nobody on the Red Bulls is really hurt besides questionable Lewis Morgan. I don't think him dropping out of the Scotland squad means much. I would predict he plays his full part as he would as if nothing happened on Saturday evening. So if I had to pick a winner, of course I'm biased, but I think what you said could be accurate. It would go to 120 minutes, which I think makes it much different than their games against Columbus. I think there's a whole nother angle to that now. I do think it'll go to added extra time. I think Red Bulls win 1-0 in AET, somewhere in the 108th minute, maybe even the 98th minute. I don't think either... I think at best it will be 0-0 or 1-1 after 90 minutes. I think this game goes to AET no matter what. I'll go with a Red Bulls 1-0 win. Maybe a scrappy Manuel goal assisted by Emil Forsberg. That's my prediction.
Thankfully, Forsberg did not play for Sweden when he was out for international break over the past weekend. Yes,
Forsberg was called up. Unlike Morgan, he actually stayed with Sweden for their matches. But he, of course, was benched both games, didn't get a minute against Slovakia. We'll see if he plays tomorrow against Azerbaijan. I do doubt it. But I mean, that Sweden do not... Well, they could need the victory just so that they know they're above Slovakia. They need at least a draw to make sure they're promoted from League C. Well, they're without Lindelof. All right, so that's our Red Bull segment. Do you want to move on? The next game on Saturday?
Moving on, the next game on Saturday is the Los Angeles Galaxy facing off... No, wait a minute, no. Stop recording. need to fix this. Let me check.
This
Give me
is
a
all
second.
live. I'm not
Fuck.
cutting anything out. The MLS game on Saturday night, Ben, is Los Angeles, Seattle,
yeah.
LAFC, Seattle.
Fuck, I messed up there. It's LAFC Seattle. LAFC, they cannot lose to Seattle. They've beaten them like 9 times in a row. Just 9 times in a row. So you gotta have Los Angeles winning this game. They're the best team in the Western Conference. They have the stars. They have the goalie. They got everything needed to win an MLS Cup. And the Eastern Conference, it looks weak. So it's probably going to be an LA team winning this year. So I'm going to go with LAFC winning 3-0.
You are right. LAFC have beaten Seattle 6 straight times going back to June 21st, 2023. Interestingly, in 4 different competitions, in the regular season, the playoffs, the Leagues Cup, and the Open Cup. So, I mean, if you just look at history, I think I agree with you that LAFC, at least in the last year and a half, completely own Seattle. I mean, Seattle just, I don't know what it is. They haven't beaten them since 2021. I think LAFC is just too much for them. I don't know if their stars will play as much of a part as they sometimes do. Probably not. But I would go with a 2, maybe 3-1 LAFC win. Give me that in 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be LAFC winning here
What
on
did you
Saturday.
say a score?
Yeah, I said 3-0.
Okay, sorry. I cut out there. All right.
Matches.
So we both have the Red Bulls and LAFC in the conference finals. Who do you have the Red Bulls facing of Orlando City and Atlanta United?
God, I hope it's Atlanta, but it's probably going to be Orlando.
Well, who do you think? Not what do most people think. What do you think?
Orlando.
Atlanta haven't had a clean sheet in 11 games.
Yes,
that is interesting.
yet, but Guzan's been playing out of his fucking mind.
Still,
it's been crazy his run against Miami.
In the regular season, these teams were pretty split. Atlanta won in Atlanta. Actually, no, Atlanta won both of the season series games in 2024. They beat Orlando 2-0 at home and then beat Orlando away 2-1. Of course, Orlando is hosting this game again. So do you think that it'll be different this time than the regular season?
No, Orlando shouldn't even be in this game. Charlotte, this is all on Charlotte. They had a 94th minute penalty that they gave up for Orlando. Kalina makes a save, but Facundo Torres converts. Game goes to pen. They lose this. They lose. So Orlando, they shouldn't be in this game. It should be Charlotte Atlanta, but here we are.
It's not Charlotte Atlanta. It's Charlotte Orlando. What? No, it's Orlando Atlanta.
So I'm going to go with Atlanta because they pulled off that upset in round 1 against Miami. I think Guzan has that momentum right now to take them into the conference finals.
It's the Peach Bowl versus the Citrus Bowl. I mean, these are 2 probably very average teams. I don't think either of them would have expected to be playing for the conference finals right now. Certainly not Atlanta after their first 28 games of the season. But here they are now. And I think the MLS playoffs are very similar to baseball. The way it's just, if you get hot, it's single elimination, you can easily go through like that. Especially in only 90 minutes. Now it's AT. It's going to be a little different. Teams will play differently than they did in round 1. I think you have Atlanta. I don't know. I would like to see Atlanta win. That's who I'll root for on Sunday, no matter what happens in New York. But I'm probably going to pick Orlando City 2-1. I think Facundo Torres penalty, a goal from Gray, and I think Orlando win.
I think Atlanta's going to win on
Home-field
penalty
advantage.
shootout 5-4. It's going to be a 0-0.
Sounds boring.
Yeah, probably will be.
So you have Atlanta. I have Orlando. That's our first disagreement. We're only doing the semifinals. No need to do past
Conference,
that.
because
No,
our
because
predictions are probably going to be wrong.
Well, we'll see who's wrong for that game.
Yeah.
But moving on to the last game of the Eastern Conference of the MLS playoff semifinals, it's LA Galaxy versus the Minnesota Minnesota United.
The Loons go into this game as heavy underdogs as they go into Carson to face the Galaxy at Dignity Health Sports Park.
Yeah, that was...
Minnesota, they took down Real Salt Lake. Both games going to the shootout, but Galaxy, they won 5-0 in Game 1 in Carson, and Game 2 they won 4-1 in Commerce City. So Galaxy, they're heavy favorites for this game. They got Ricky Puig, they got Gabriel
Puig.
Peck, Joseph Pancil, J.J. McCarthy.
What?
Yeah, the goalie.
J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah.
That's his name.
I mean, his first name's John.
John McCarthy.
Fuck off.
J.J. McCarthy is a quarterback for the Vikings who's injured.
It's,
I mean, if J.J. McCarthy's at this game, I wouldn't be surprised, but he'll be in the stands. John McCarthy.
Well, all right.
Moving on.
And the Loons, they got Robin Lod, Calvin something, Tamu Puki, and Dane St. Clair.
Timo, but yes.
I'm going to go with Galaxy, like, 3-1 win, with Peck scoring a brace, and then Puig for the G's, and then for MNUFC would be Lud.
For the G's?
Yeah, people call the Galaxy that.
No one has ever called them that. The G's?
Yeah, that's
LA
like,
Galaxy.
People call
LA
Galaxy. People call Galaxy that.
The G's?
Yes, people do.
Let's go G's?
Yes, people do say that.
Calls them that. Anyway, LAG, lag. No, I think, I mean, I know it's different now where it's the wild card versus single elimination now. But I think I agree with you for the most part. I think Galaxy will be the one moving on against Minnesota, just like how they moved around. I guess we both have a LA conference final.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably tracks. I mean, they're the two best teams right now. I mean, that's why they were the top two seeds. Galaxy, of course, demolished them. I think I'm going to go for a 3-1 win in AAT. I think it'll be 1-1, and then LA Galaxy pull away in extra time with a goal from Joveljic and a penalty for Royce. I don't know why he would take it, but he will. So we both have LA conference finals, and I have the Red Bulls taking on Orlando, and you have
Red Bulls Atlanta.
Yes. So, well, that's the Jonah and Ben podcast. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah, Ten Hag got fired.
I mean, that was a while ago.
Just because it was in the break between these two podcasts.
There's been a long break between the two podcasts. I mean,
yeah, because it's been a long break before round one.
I suppose that is true. I mean, in World Cup qualifiers, as it stands, the Asian teams that would make the World Cup are Iran, Uzbekistan, very interesting, South Korea, Jordan, and Japan, Australia. Would you want to see any of those teams?
Holy shit, Uzbekistan's going to be the World Cup. I'm going to go.
As it stands.
I am going to go.
One of these 5 teams is going to make the World Cup. And you can't see it, but it's between Uzbekistan, Dubai, Qatar, Kyrgyzstan, and North Korea. One of those 5 nations. The top 2 get the World Cup.
It's going to be Uzbekistan.
Who of those 5 would you want to see at the World Cup?
North Korea, but...
come on.
That
game would be in a
seeing
dome.
North Korea in the United States.
Oh
my fuck!
Well, they have 2 points after 5 games. It seems.
If they were the U.S.'s group, imagine that.
That would be warfare.
United States versus North Korea.
It looks like it would be Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
All right. And I mean, Group B ain't so hot either after South Korea. Okay, either Jordan, Iraq, another U.S. great matchup. Oman, Kuwait, or Palestine, another. Well, they're not making it either. So of those 5, who would you want to see?
Oman.
Oman, just because of their name?
No, because all the other ones are hateable.
Well, what's wrong with Jordan?
Didn't we invade them?
We invaded all the 3 of these, but...
Oh, no, wait, we invaded all of them.
I don't remember. Well, that was a long time ago, that one.
Yeah.
And then Group C, these are actually 3 of the 3 of the 5 best nations, or at least footballing nations in Asia.
And China.
Well, China are going to go to the next group phase, but it seems like Japan is easily going to make the World Cup. They're by far the best Asian nation.
I mean...
And Australia obviously isn't Asian, but they would beat other oceanic clubs 31-0. New Zealand's last 2 games, they won 8-0.
Yeah, I
mean... we're going to see New Zealand at the World Cup in America.
I don't think the Socceroos are going to
make it out of this group?
Make it out of the group. I think
it's going to be... top 2.
I hope it's China, honestly. I want China at the World Cup.
Well, all 3 of them are tied. Just China's -8 goal difference.
Yeah, but they can still make it.
Well, tomorrow they face Japan. Japan tomorrow. Wake up at 7 a.m. for that.
World War II throwback.
Yes. Hide your wives, literally. Chinese women. I hope it's China too, because remember when they made the '02 World? Well, you weren't born, neither was I. But they did make the '02 World Cup just because South Korea and Japan were hosting.
It would be really funny if the United States World Cup would have China
and North Korea.
And North Korea.
Yes. All right. Well, that's the podcast. We got it to exactly 20 fucking minutes.